I hear what you're saying. You like FPV. You've seen the $99 build, but how about a $500 Catalyst Machine Works Bind and Fly Racer? Just how good is it? Well, that's what this video is all about.
Quick. You're going a long way away.
Jesus. G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today, well, this one is for you hardcore racers out there. What we are looking at, and I'm hoping there's not too much swearing in this video, we are going to be looking at one of the most premium racers on the market. This is definitely not for those budget people out there. This is people who are after insane performance. It is the Catalyst Machine Works Mofo. We're going to be putting it on the bench, break it down, look at the text and the specs, and then most importantly, we go out in the field, we rip it around with this absolute screamer of performance. We see what Grumpy Trev thinks, see what I think, all this sort of stuff. We have some fun with this drone. Now, the link is going to be down below. We're going to mainly be focusing on the Mofo frame. It's a new one from Catalyst, and we will also be talking about the Bind and Fly, because there's a couple of different versions. I'm going to link them down below. The main review is about the frame, but there is also the Bind and Fly to this exact one that I've got here. I'm going to link that down below. So let's do it. Kick it off as a bit of an overview. First thing I should say, what is this drone? What is Catalyst Machine Works? Catalyst Machine Works, they make arguably some of the best drones in the biz. Them and Armaton are probably right up there with, I would say, companies that just do things right by the pilots. They keep pushing, keep innovating, and taking little steps, building on what they already know, making better and better products for us. And this bad boy right here is well and truly centered in what Catalyst Machine Works stands for, which is hardcore racing, extreme performance, getting on the podium. They make Catalyst Machine Works without a doubt make some of the best racing drones on the planet. If you want to win, chances are, if you've seen some people get in first place, chances are they are probably have some experience with Catalyst Machine Works and their craft. Plus, they've got amazing customer support as well. Now, with that out of the way, let's do it. An overview of this quad, what it is. This one is a Bind and Fly, but it is the frame itself, the Mofo. It's a 5-inch racer. It is designed not really to carry a GoPro. It is designed to go extremely fast. It's got some little nuances that make it really, really tough. It's going to keep you flying for longer, be able to flip over better. It's just going to help you finish your races. And also, it's very, very easy to repair and work on, which is something that was different to their original designs, like the Catalyst Machine Works America, one of my favorite drones of all time. But that thing was a pain in the butt if you had to do some work. This is very, very easy. Simple, easy, and fast. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go through some of the components. We're going to spend a bit of time in the design phase talking about the frame and what makes this frame special. It's about $55 for the frame, and hold your horses, hold on to your, whatever, your cups of tea, grab something. But the Bind and Fly price for this one is $479. That's right, ladies and gents. So the frame itself is like under $60, but the Bind and Fly with the components and everything you get on here, please only get this if you are super serious about racing. If you're into budget racing, or if you're into just flopping around, doing some freestyle in the trees, not worrying too much, this really isn't going to be the Bind and Fly for you. If you are hardcore, want to get first, you want to have the best of the best, well, then that's really the market that Catalyst Machine Works has been dominating. So let's start at the outside in with some of the components. Of course, I think we've just got some little hurricane props on the outside. They're running reverse, which is very, very important on this Bind and Fly. We have some, and these motors, let me tell you, are something special. It is the Cannonball motors, and that is from Gabby, because he is one of the team pilots over at Catalyst Machine Works. So these sound like his signature motors. They are 2406s, if memory serves me right, and the KV is 2020. So a very, very fast 6S motor, I should say. They're designed for 6S. That's around, if I had to do a quick little bit of maths in my head, that is like a high KV 4S of about 27, 28, so a very, very high KV motor, especially for a 6S, but because it's a big 2406, it has buckets of power. It feels like a 2207, but because it's a little bit larger, it's got some of that low-end torque as well. Very, very nice to fly in the corners, not only just a top speed as well. Moving towards the middle, of course, we've just got some fairly standard stuff, just some fairly high-quality standard stuff, I should say. We've got our 4-in-1 ESC, it's a 45 amp ESC. I'll put some stats on the screen as well. We've got our Pyroflip flight control, it's an F7, standard VTX on the top, a little run cam, micro camera, keeping the weight down, and then towards the back we've just got our little Luminaire CP antenna. If I can, I can't unscrew this actually, because right next to it there's a little screw that, hopefully I can put this on the screen. We also have a little flip stick, which is going to be very, very good when it comes to flipping your quad over in like a turtle mode situation, where you might have crashed out, your quad is still ready to go, it's just up the wrong way. flick of a button, flick of a switch, flip the throttle, flip, it's going to flip over, and then you can continue your race. And that might be the difference in, you know, you're not going to set a record if you're crashing, but that might be the difference between getting to the next round, if you've crashed and you can still finish your race, versus someone else who's stuck in the grass, they're burning a motor out, all that sort of stuff. Now, the main part, if we move on, talk about the design of the thing, the Catalyst Machine Works Mofo. This is where I want to spend a little bit of time, break the frame down a little bit more. That's what mainly this review is about the frame. That is that is the piece people are probably going to be excited about. That's the bit I'm excited about. And what is it? Well, the design of this thing, it is designed to be simple, strong, and fast, and also very, very easy to work on. You can see it is just made up of 2 base plates right here. I'll put some pictures on the screen as well if we can't get this in shot. We've got 2 base plates, a fairly rigid top plate, and then 4 straight arms with 2 massive struts as well. Now, I'll go through some of the things I do really like about this, and then we'll talk about there's some little locking mechanisms in the middle as well, which make it quite I'll put a picture on the screen actually. There is a special little plate in here which is doing some sort of magic which we can talk about. And great, look at that. You can see, of course, that little stick on the top. That means it's going to stop it from it's going to be very easy. It's going to stop it from getting stuck in the grass. Flip the throttle, you're back off to the races, finishing your laps. So, the first part I want to talk about, because there is quite a bit. These arms right here are very, very thick. They are 9 millimeters across. Very, very robust frames. They've kind of jacked it up even more from some of the traditional racers out there. And the reason is simple. They want a strong arm that's not going to break. So you don't even have to run this with some front braces. Of course, if you're worried about crashing and you want a little bit more extra durability, you can throw these on. Very, very tough. You can see we've got 2 spikes at the front as well. We'll talk about both of those. But one thing I do want to mention is on the underside of these arms, you can see the motor hole spacing is a little bit off. It's kind of off 45 degrees to what it's normally like. Let's hold this around the right way. And what that means is your motor wires are actually going to come out at a 45-degree angle. So you can see, here's a better shot. So I'll put another picture on the screen. Thank you very much, Catalyst. The motor wires are actually coming off your arms at a 45-degree angle. And normally think, man, that's annoying because you want to run your wires down the top of your arms. These ones, Catalyst think, you know what, we don't want to have prop strikes. If your props hit your wires, you're out of the race. It might be the difference between going on to the next round and finishing it. Catalyst Machine Works want you to get on the podium. So they actually recommend running the wires down the side of the arms, which means it is almost impossible. You don't have to worry about prop protectors on your ESCs or on your wires, nothing like that. You don't have to run race wire. It is almost impossible for you to be cutting your wires, which I think, number one, is a big plus. It's going to save us some money, and also, if it helps you win, well, any little advantage for a lot of people is going to be worth its weight in gold. Now, of course, towards the front, you can see we have 2 spikes right here. Now, the first spike on the outside, that is simply to protect your huge motors on here. So if you do happen to have an unlucky crash, maybe there's a pole, a big flag pole or something that you crash into, a heavy gate, where it does have the potential to break some part of your drone. This spike is going to take a large amount of the impact and sort of protect it, stop the bell from crushing up. And then there's also this little spike on the front. And the reason they are there is because in a lot of races, you are allowed to sort of hover up on a bit of an angle before you take off. So those little spikes just help it balance just a little bit more, give it that little bit of an edge so it can grip in before you can punch the throttle, disappear, and get on with your race. Now, is that going to make a big difference to most pilots? Probably not. Is that going to make a difference to the elite, the best of the best? Yes, I think so. Every single little advantage you can get, that's what Catalyst Machine Works is trying to offer. Now, of course, if we flip it over, you can see underneath here, this is where I'll put a picture on the screen. There is a tiny little brace plate because there not only is your arm sandwiched between here, but there is also a little sort of extra carbon piece that butts up between the 2 arms. So their arms are very, very rigid. They are locked in place, and it's almost like there's an extra little locking piece of carbon in there as well. That means there is no play in the arms. It's very easy to swap them out, but it's also, they're not going to be slopping around. They're not going to be moving, nothing like that. So your arms right here are going to be locked in place for a long time. And then, of course, towards the top, we've just got our little antenna mounts in the design, our little flip stick on the back. I love how there's a couple of different TPU mounts, actually. I'll put a whole picture on the screen of them, you can see. And also, that goes for camera mounts as well. It can take a huge variety of cameras. It can get some insane angles. I mean, I wonder what that would be like to actually be flying around almost backwards. But yeah, very, very cool stuff. Our little antenna pieces out the side. So they're going to stay nice and straight, the exposed part in the antenna. All in all, just a well-designed, simple frame with some little nuances, taking what they've learned in the past, making it light, making it simple. Let's do that. Let's find out how much it actually weighs. So this, remember, is with some 2406 motors ready to run. Let's tear this off. I'm going to guess it's going to be 400 grand. No, that can't be right. 350. Oh man, it's under 300 grams. I was well off. It is 295 grams, which is kind of ridiculous for the absolute insane power that you're going to see when we're ripping this thing around. So all in all, design, Catalyst Machine Works, you have been absolutely smashing it. The frame itself is 50 bucks too, or 55, I think, what, 55 to 60, somewhere like that. The frame itself, linked down below. I think it's kind of actually worth it. You get a premium frame that's been designed in the US, doing some really cool stuff that is going to offer you some advantages. But I don't know, if we talk about the pros and the cons in a little bit, is the bind and fly worth it? That's going to be a bit harder to answer. Now, of course, the quality of the thing, I got to say, Catalyst Machine Works, it is renowned for quality. 10 out of 10. They are one of the most high quality manufacturers in the biz. They make some of the best bind and fly drones, but they'd want to because they are very, very pricey, and also the quality of the carbon in these things are rock solid. Very, very well cut. It feels good. Never had an issue in my 5 years time with Catalyst Machine Works and the carbon frames they've got. So, absolutely delicious. 10 out of 10 quality. And then that brings us on to the pros and the cons before we take this thing out, scream it around, show what Grumpy Trev thinks, and just find out how well does a $500 racer go. Pros. Actually, let's do some of the cons. The big one. Let's talk about it. The price of the bind and fly. The price of the frame, I'm more than happy with. 60 bucks, go for it. I think that is a good price, especially if someone wants all the advantages of a little frame like this. But the big one, the bind and fly, 500 bucks or 475, whatever it is. It's expensive. No doubt about it. Is it worth it? I don't know. Some people might want to pay for premium. That's really up to them. For me, I don't know, it's just a little bit more pricey than some of those others out there. Why is my camera flashing like that? I'm not too sure. Is it worth it? Well, that's kind of up to you to decide. The other pro I've got to mention is it's not really made for carrying a GoPro. Like, if you put a little GoPro mounted into the top here, yes, you could do it. I don't know how structurally sound it's going to be because all in all, it's a very, very strong quad in this situation. But if you throw a GoPro on the top, it's probably going to, you know, change the feel. It's not going to hold up maybe quite as well. It's not what it's designed for. What this is designed for, and this is where we can talk about some of the pros. You want to go fast, you want something that's reliable, you want something that's extreme high quality, has a few little nuances and tidbits that are going to help you get further in the field. Might be the difference between getting to the next heat, getting on the podium, getting enough points in whatever race you're going to do. And also, when you look at the frame price for just the frame itself, that 55 bucks, I think, you know what, that kind of is a little bit of quality. Oh, and also the quality as well. So yeah, I think that part, Catalyst Machine Works has a lot of pros going for it. The big one, the only thing that I find is going to be a hard pill for some people to swallow is the budget conscious crew who, you know, 500 bucks on a drone. I know it's not 500, but it's getting up there. 500 bucks is going to be an awful lot for if you want the bind and fly. Frame itself though at 55 bucks, I don't think too many people are going to be complaining. But look, that's it on the bench. That is this beauty. And also maybe the name. Screaming out mofo, mofo all the time. I'm sure it's not going to be good for my YouTube channel. But we'll just have to see how that goes. Some people might be a little bit offended by the name. Some other people might be like, yep, that's exactly the type of quad that I want. Something that is mofo fast and screaming around, having some fun. So that's what we're going to do now. Speaking of fun, let's go out to the field. We'll fly it around. I'll show you my DVR. We will show you some impressions with Grumpy Trev as well when we get that old bugger on the sticks. And I've got to give a bit of an apology to Catalyst because I've had this drone for quite a long time, but between having a newborn baby, 2 strikes of lockdowns in where I am at the moment, so yeah, it's been very, very tricky. Plus the weather in winter in Australia, it's just been a bit of a nightmare to get out and film this thing, but it's here now and you guys are going to enjoy it. So grab yourself a cup of coffee. Let's do it. Let's go do it in the field and have some fun in 3, 2, 1. Video out here in the field. Let's do it. Catalyst Machine Works mofo. I'm not entirely sure what that means. We're going to show you some DVR. I'll try and do a bit of track flying, but look, I am by no means a professional racer. We'll fling this thing around, see what the grumpy man, old bugger, Grumpy Trev thinks as well. Have some fun with the Catalyst Machine Works mofo. DVR only because I'm not strapping HD on here because that's not what it's made for. Let's rip it with the mofo. Rightio, you guys are in for a treat. Ready? We're going to punch the throttle and look at this. Even though it's just DVR, this thing is just disappearing. The amount of thrust coming out here, a little blip of the throttle, we are pretty much into the stratosphere as far as performance goes. If you are interested in insane speeds that are going to just blow your mind, your friend's jaws are going to hit the floor. Jaw, not drawers. Jaw is going to hit the floor. Well, maybe they're drawers as well. Anyway, I digress. It is all about that mofo speed because Catalyst Machine Works, that's what they're renowned for. They know racing, and this quad just absolutely symbolizes that. It is strong. It feels great on the sticks. And the only part I kind of feel a little bit sad about is me being a slow old man. You know, I used to think I was quick back in the day, but I don't have the actual skills to show this off just how nice it was flying. I can only comment, and I'm just like an everyday average sort of park flyer, but let me tell you, I can still notice when you punch that throttle, this thing absolutely, the amount of thrust coming out of it, it disappears. So disappearing, a very, very fast performance quad. No oscillations, nothing like that. It's not tilting to one side. It's not dropping any corners. Just a beautiful, absolute beautiful quad to fly around. Now, coming in here for a little bit because I did get a loose prop on that prop strike into the tree. So we get Trevor to sort of tighten it back up. Then we're going up again. So thanks very much, Trevor, for tightening that up. But yeah, this one, if you are into racing, even the frame itself, I think, is fantastically priced. It's very robust. It's stable. It feels great. No oscillations, and they're bind and fly. Well, that is really where the dream is at. If you are into racing at all, and especially now because analog, there is a big push to be said that, look, analog is still where the racing scene is heavily. So it's not a DJI real drone. You know, I do think DJI looks nicer in the goggles, but if you're into racing, this is what I have to stress. Racing. Racing, racing, racing. You want to get on the podium. They're still going to be using analog. I don't really think there's going to be many craft better than this. It's pricey, but sometimes, look, if you want to be the best of the best, I guarantee all those top pilots are using a craft that's probably up around the same price point. So overall, I've got to say, Catalyst Machine Works, your bind and fly is absolutely delicious, gorgeous. So many acronyms you could use to describe it. It feels good on the sticks. It's very responsive. It's almost like point and shoot, like a laser. Goes exactly where you want it to go. The response and thrust that comes out of it is mind-blowing. And then the frame itself, if people want to build their own for $55, that's where I feel like it is really actually pretty good, decent value. So I don't know. All in all, I think it felt great. Just makes me feel old and slow when you can see the potential that this craft has, but I just can't push it with my skills quite up there. But speaking of old, what we should do, let's hand over to the grumpy bugger himself, see what that old man thinks and what he thinks of the Mofo. Radio GT, this is the Catalyst Machine Works Mofo. Now, I'm sure I don't want you to tell me what that stands for there. Thank you very much. But pretty much premium bind and fly racer. We're going to put it through its paces. What's your first impressions?
Well, typical Catalyst Machine Works. Built well, compact, looks like it's going to be quick, and it looks nice. What else can I say? It's just, I've never seen a bad drone from those guys.
Yeah, no, they do make some pretty good
like
stuff.
It's really stuff that you want to take to bed.
Yeah, okay, but too much info. All right, let's do it. The pack's on there. We'll charge it up and go for a rip.
Mofo. Mother.
Hey, Trevor. Okay.
Or mother.
Let's go.
Yeah. Smooth. Oh. Quick.
You're going all the way away.
Jesus.
So, Trevor, you madman, you punched it out. What's it like?
Quick. Very, very quick. It's mother. That's what it stands for, mother.
Okay.
Mother of all quads. It's quick, all right.
All right, so it said quick about 6 times.
It's quick.
How's the camera? Is it wobbling around? Is there any wobbles in the tune? Is it smooth? How's
Camera works. It's very smooth. Very pointy. Jesus, quick.
Okay. Who would you recommend it for? Because it's pretty expensive. It's going to be around the $500 mark.
Look, you're only going to do this if you're into racing, because your average Joe Blow got one of these things, you'd destroy it. It's just too quick.
Okay.
Like, I wouldn't even be game myself to do a track with it because it's too fast for me for track work.
I think it looks pretty. The frame, I think, looks really. It's got those 2 struts across the arms at the front to brace it together.
Yeah, I suppose it's strong. Oh, Jesus, nice though. I'd like to see this in some capable hands like
someone like
Granger. Yeah, they could really put it to its paces, because I can only tell you how quick it is and how responsive it is. But yeah, it's built like a tank anyway. It's very, very nice.
All right. So, in your humble opinion, what's the I guess as us non-racers out here, what's your performance out of 10?
It's got to be a 10 because it's just responsive, it's quick. You can't go wrong with this. It's just...
It is hard to get a bad drone from Catalyst.
Yeah.
And what about value for money though? Because it's about $500, mate, US.
Yeah, but I think, if you want something and you're going to race something as good as this, you're going to have to pay the dollars. And I really think for something as good as this, I wouldn't pay the money, but a racer that wants a great drone, and like these dudes always put out really great stuff, I really do think it's worth the money.
Good. All right, Trev.
So, 10 out of 10, this thing, it is really nice.
But you're not going to buy one?
No.
Why? Because you're not a racer.
I'm not a racer. Of course, see, Granger put these things through their paces, and he'd finish the whole race, and I wouldn't have done a lap.
We wouldn't have taken off yet.
Yeah.
Too easy.
So yeah.
How's your battery voltage? Oh, 22. You're still doing
22.
Right. It's not too bad. And this is a small pack too, a 1,000 milliamp. So,
It's got plenty of punch. Look at that.
yeah, it's disappearing.
Oh,
Too easy.
pretty impressive.
All right, man. Thanks, Trev.
Really nice.
Thanks, Trev. I'm glad you didn't swear.
Didn't I?
No, I'm cutting it out before you do.
Oh.
Alrighty, so there it is. There's my review of the Mofo from Catalyst Machine Works. Feels a little bit weird saying that. I'm sure YouTube's not going to like that word too much. But the Catalyst Machine Works Mofo, it has some huge pluses and also really only one con for me. Like out of the box, this thing, it works. It is performance. It is pristine quality. It's robust. It's easy to work on. It's going to punch a hole in the sky. It's got things that are going to help you get onto that podium. The bind and fly is the only real thing I have the issue with when it comes to the price. Is this going to be worth it for you? That's a very, very personal question, which I guess is up to how much you want to spend, how much you want to get on that podium, all that sort of stuff. If money's no object and you just want to get the best of the best, and there is definitely a market out there who want the top of the line racing premium rigs, go check out Catalyst Machine Works. This link for this bind and fly is down below. Look, it's probably going to run you close to $500. And I know on one hand, some people, there's definitely a market. People are like, yep, that's what I want. I want to go fast. But for some other crew, the budget-minded people, they're going to say, you know what, that's not really worth it for me. A bind and fly like that for that price, they can build their own, or they might be able to shop around, get some cheaper components. They might not be as reliable. They want to do some other parts. That might be a totally different market that I don't think Catalyst is catering for with this bind and fly. However, in saying that, if you do want to build your own, I think the frame price of just the Mofo by itself for $55 is definitely just a good value frame. You're still going to, if you build one up yourself, you're still going to have all the pros and the things that are going to help you win the race. Something that's sturdy, reliable, fast, that's got some little nuances that are going to help you get to that podium, to keep working, the flip stick, the extra spikes at the front, very thick arms, you're not going to be slicing your wires. All in all, I think the $55 Mofo frame itself, a lot of people are going to be enjoying. So anyway, I'd love to know what you guys think. A bit of a different video today because unfortunately we didn't have Granger, and also it's not every day we focus on some extreme performance quads. Most of the time we do some value, but it's nice to see a bit of variety on the show. But I'd love to know, what did you guys think? Other than that, subscribe for more FPV related content, and as always, happy flying. Mofo. I really shouldn't say that. Anyway, happy flying.